Hello and welcome to First Look. Look with 2 zeros, I'm Young John. And today we're going to look at something very special from Drop. This is a custom TKL keyboard called the Moonshot. Now, unlike most keyboard manufacturers, Drop sells components and parts. It's like going to a high-end car tuner, saying that you want a Pininfarina body, with a Cosworth V12 engine and Bridgestone wet weather tires, something like that. So Drop actually took parts and made a whole line of keyboards if you don't exactly know where to start. So they call it the Icon Collection. Now they start from the very basic one called Expression, and then you can move up to Signature, which includes like custom keycaps and custom, upgraded parts. And then you go all the way up to Paragon, which is what the Moonshot is. It has hand lubed switches and custom stabilizers and all this kind of stuff. So, without further ado, let's open up the box and see exactly what you get. Here's the official box. It has a quiet elegance about it. Totally in black and the word Drop kind of in reflective print. Very easy to open, it just flips open. It has a magnet on the front. On the top is a card. Getting started on the front. Default hotkeys on the back. A cardboard cutout, a sealed package with a USB cable, and the money shot. Really nice case. Oh yeah, with a beautiful keyboard inside. And that's everything, your paperwork, your cable, keyboard, and the carry case. Check out this beautiful keyboard. This is Arctic colorway, they call it, and it just reminds me of, a polar bear. The white part is the polar bear sitting on a block of blue ice. Now this frame is called the CTRL High-Profile aluminum frame. It's like a block of aluminum. It's very, very heavy, and it's called high profile because it is actually quite high and it sits on a 6-degree angle. On the bottom, you see 6 rubber feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and a little D to denote that it's made by Drop. The keycaps are Drop and MiTo SA Profile Godspeed Custom Keycaps. This is designed by a guy named MiTo and manufactured by Drop, and you can see that it has weird names on it like Stage, Hard Over, Transmit, Probe, Rover, Orbit. This is not a typical keyboard. This is specially made. Now it's made for touch typers. Touch typers practically have all of the keys more or less memorized, but if you are kind of at a loss, you can take a look at what they gave you inside the package, which is a layout of what the keys actually are. So tab, caps lock, shift, control, and all of that stuff. So you can just leave this next to your keyboard if you're lost for words. But these keys are specially made and, it's made for a little bit more fun. The keycaps themselves are SA Profile, which is the highest profile. So if we use one of the tools they give us in the black box, this is a keycap puller. I'm just gonna pull out the J here. This is a quality tool. It's not one of those cheap plasticky things. Here's the difference between an SA Profile and a Cherry Profile. The cherries are much smaller, lower rather, and the SA is quite high. This is the highest profile a keycap can have, and this is one of the smaller, lower ones. And this is also sculpted in a very kind of finger-friendly way. If you look at it, it has a nice curve this way and a nice curve this way. Very, very different from the cherry-styled keycaps. As long as we have this key out, we might as well take a look at the switches too. These are Holy Panda switches. There's a whole lore to Holy Panda switches. Just go Google Holy Panda switches and you'll read the whole shebang of how it came about. It's really, really fascinating. All of these switches have been individually taken apart, lubed up, put back. Every single one. So it takes a lot of work. Switches are hot swappable on this case, so you can grab your switch puller that they give you and pull out the switch. Something like this. Grab it and kind of gently loosen and pull it out. I forget what it's technically called, but it has 3 points, the plastic bit in the middle and 2 metal points. So you can replace these switches with any other switch you want. The whole point of it is you can modify it to your tastes with switches that you actually prefer. I don't know why anyone would actually want to switch out Holy Panda switches because they're so good in of themselves. But if you want to experiment with other kinds of switches, you can. When you're done, you can simply reinsert the switch back the way it came. 2 metal points on the bottom and this plastic bit on the middle. Should be very careful with these guys. In addition, you have custom stabilizers by Gateron. So if we take one of the larger keys that have a switch in the middle, you have the stabilizers on either side. You have them for the space bar and for the right shift, and any of the larger keys should have those. The stabilizers, of course, are keeping the keys working no matter where you tap on the key, on the right, on the left, on the middle, it doesn't matter. And everything works no matter where you tap on the key. So now you know all of the parts of this keyboard. I'm gonna plug it in. We're gonna see how it works. The other end of the cable is already connected to my laptop, and you see the lights going all the way around the keyboard. Quite beautiful. And if you want to control the lights, you can always refer to your cheat sheet. But for this keyboard, it's going to be function and A and D. Let me show you. Here's A and D. You have different kinds of lighting that's possible with all of these guys. And we're back to the original. Now, these keys by MiTo are opaque, but you can replace the keys with like pudding caps, for example. So as you can see, there's beautiful lighting underneath. I'm just illustrating this so that if you like lights, you can always, replace keycaps with something else. Here's a sound test for the Drop Moonshot. We've set up a shotgun microphone and an XLR recorder, and here we go. So as you've heard, each keystroke has a nice thok sound to it, nice and firm, and there's dampening material inside the case keeping everything from shaking or vibrating, so that's a nice addition too. By far the loudest key was the spacebar because of the size of the key. It's hollower than everything else, so it makes the biggest amount of noise. The keycaps themselves are made with a thick amount of plastic, so it didn't sound whiny or hollow. It had a nice solid thud. So what do I think of this keyboard? I actually really like it, and the problem here is that once you get used to using these custom keyboards with awesome switches like the Holy Pandas, you really can't go back to using mass market keyboards anymore. This is a typer's dream. It feels and sounds wonderful under your fingers. The only thing I wish it had was little indentations for the F and J key, so I don't have to keep looking down to see if my fingers are in the right place. This control high profile is high enough that you're gonna have a hard time typing because you're gonna be lifting every time you want to reach numbers. So you'll need a wrist rest. I personally use a standing desk, so I type the way I play a piano, with my wrist upwards like this. But if you're sitting at a table and your wrists are sitting at a desk, your muscles are going to get sore because you're going to be lifting your wrist all the time. Here's the biggest problem though. Even though I love this keyboard and I love using it, I now have stuck my foot inside the rabbit hole and I'm just sliding deeper and deeper into this. This kind of hobby can get very, very expensive. It's like buying that first supercar. You drive it, you love it, and then you're like, well, what if I switch tires out to the Michelin brand? Or what if I try this kind of engine? It's the same exact thing. You're gonna wanna try different switches, different keycaps. There are a set of the Lord of the Rings that I want, except it's all in Elvish and I can't read that. But there are diehard fans who can, and they've picked up a set of Lord of the Rings keycaps made also by Drop. That's the only downside I can see. You're gonna get way too invested in this kind of hobby. But as for the keyboard itself, this is a wonderful keyboard. It's a bit on the expensive side, as all Ferraris are, for example. But if you take apart the components and look at the price of the keycaps and the switches and the frame itself, you are probably getting a better deal by buying this whole set. So best to save yourself the aggravation of having to, lube up all of your Holy Pandas. They've already done it for you, and I believe this is assembled in the United States, so there is no sweatshop involved. And that's pretty much our look into the Drop Moonshot keyboard. I really enjoy using it and hope I don't fall too much further into the rabbit hole. Thank you very much for watching this video. We'll leave Amazon affiliate links down below in the notes if this keyboard is available there. Otherwise, it should be available at the Drop website. And if you haven't yet, please take a moment now to subscribe to the First Look with 2 Zeros YouTube channel. We'll see you all again next time.